Welcome to the VSU Center for Entrepreneurship Small Business Resource Database, where innovators are empowered to succeed on their business journey. This webinar is brought to you by our esteemed community partner dedicated to supporting the mission of small business growth, productivity, and profitability in the thriving ecosystem we foster together.
So, on the other side of fear, taking the leap to entrepreneurial journey, on your entrepreneurial journey. My name is Shalonda Venable Royster. I'm the founder and CEO of Collegiate Connections. And I am here to talk to you all about your business startup. If you started, are you structured properly? Where are you going from here and where are you going in the future, right? Today's overview, if you will, is going to be starting a business, because this is a significant milestone that combines what? You have ambition, you have planning, risk-taking, of course, and this is a journey that's going to involve your vision, and it's going to evolve into careful, strategic thinking, hard work, and perseverance. So this webinar is going to provide an overview of some of the essential steps and the considerations for aspiring entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs are just getting started, and what are you looking for when you're taking that leap into business ownership. So, one of my favorite shows is The Golden Girls, and Sophia always starts her stories with picture this. So imagine, if you will, picture this. It is November 2018. I am approaching 40 years old. Like, I'm talking about approaching 40 fast and furious, like a speeding train. And this picture of this lovely lady, this is what I thought was going to be me, how I was going to look at the stroke of midnight when I turned 40. And she's skydiving. It's on her bucket list. And I thought back then that starting a business was going to be absurd. It was out of my reach and it was way too dangerous. I honestly thought that skydiving was more safer bucket list item than actually starting a business, and I was wrong. Here's a quote I want y'all to remember. Now, in April, before I went skydiving, Will Smith did a brief presentation on overcoming your fear. And he had gone skydiving and he was talking about how fearful he was. Like, the day before, he was like, yeah, I'm going to go skydiving. And then the day of, he's like, what did I sign up for? He was so frightened. He was so scared. But he said the best things in life are on the other side of terror and maximum fear. So when I went skydiving, I was completely scared. That door flew open, that air rushed in, and I was like, oh boy, what did I get myself into? But I did it. As you can see, I did it. Taking the leap into your entrepreneurial journey and facing your fears will have you realizing that you are the only person, the only obstacle between yourself and your best life. So guess what? We're going skydiving. You want to go skydiving with me? Come on, let's go skydiving. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear.
This is me skydiving. Yes, I am skydiving. My 40 and 40s list included some of the most terrifying things that I could ever face. And
When you muted, it muted the video.
And he said the best things in life are on the other side of fear. So imagine you as a business owner, potential business owner, being scared, frightened, doubtful, and apprehensive of starting your dream career. When on the other side of those three words, fear, doubt, and apprehension, is your dream. I jumped out of a plane, a perfectly working airplane, and I was terrified. And it was at that moment of terror that it was exhilaration. And it was at this moment when the parachute opened that everything got completely quiet and blissful. And I could see the world. I saw the world from something completely different. Not us walking around on the earth, looking around, but from up above and looking at the possibilities, the vast possibilities that life had to offer. He also said the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. What are we scared of? And from this point in life, for me, anytime that I get frightened and I say, oh my God, I'm so scared, I can't do that, I'm afraid. My brain reverts to that moment, November 2018, when I say, what am I scared of? I skydived. I jumped out of a plane at 10,000 feet off the earth, tree fell for 5,000 feet, and glided to see the earth for another 5,000 feet. What am I scared of? Nothing. And that's what you should be afraid of to start your dream. Nothing.
All right. So we went skydiving, y'all. You just went virtual. You did a virtual skydive with me. Yes, you did. You did a virtual skydive. So that's what I have to be afraid of now. Is nothing. Whenever I get, and I'm human, I still say, oh my goodness, I'm scared. I don't know if that's going to work. But then I said, girl, you went skydiving. You better go ahead and do it. And that's what you should do. Do it. The American dream is talked about having a house, a home, family, whatever. David S. Kidder said that building a startup will be the home ownership of the next century. Now he wrote this quote in his book, The Startup Playbook, and it was written in 2012, published in 2013. But look at us now. Look at us years later. Now, here we are with small and medium-sized companies making up 99.9% of all businesses in any locality across this country. We have micro businesses, which is a business that generates between $30,000 and $250,000 annually. Then we have small businesses in Virginia that have 500 or less employees, and they generate roughly between $100,000 and $10 million annually. And when they use these numbers and they say a small business is, less than 10 million, I'm like, give me $1 million. Let me earn $1 million or 2 million in my business. And I can promise you, it's not going to be a small business loan. It's not. So we're going to take the leap. What did you do? What are you going to do to take the leap for your own entrepreneurial journey? It starts with motivation. You got to be motivated, highly motivated in this thing we call entrepreneurship. You got to be motivated. And in that motivation comes personal goals. What are your goals professionally and personally? What are the reasons that you're starting this business? And the passion. You have to have a passion and an interest and a drive to ensure that your business aligns with your passion. And when you have an interview, when you go into an interview, and they usually ask you where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Where do you see yourself? Right? So you have to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve in the long run. But you also have to be realistic. About 20% of startups fail within the first year. About 50% fail within the first 5 years, and roughly 70 fail within 10 years. So it's important to stay motivated and keep that passion alive. Don't let these numbers, facts, and figures deter you, because you have a motivation. You woke up with a dream and you said, this is what I want to do as my business. So you have to keep that motivation alive. But after you've decided, hey, this is my passion, this is my interest, what do you have to do? You need to make sure that there is a market for it. You have to do some market research to make sure that this industry that you're going into is going to thrive. Is it going to build? Is it going to thrive? And what's the longevity of it? So you have to do some industry analysis, some current and future trends for your chosen industry. What do the numbers look like as far as revenues, right? And your target audience. So you need to identify your target market, and is there a need for that target market, and how much of a need? Because again, the longevity of it is, am I going to have constant revenues coming in for this particular endeavor that I'm going into? And I'll tell you, it came to me yesterday. One of the ways that you can look at the target market and the need is to look in EVA, Electronic Virginia. And you want to kind of look at the number of contracts that have been awarded for that particular product or service that you're diving into. I'm going to stop sharing this screen for just a moment, and I'm going to share my EVA screen. All right. Let's go over to EVA. Screen 3, yes. All right, let's go over here for just a moment. So over here we have EVA, and when you come into EVA, you sign in here, and your landing screen is going to look like this, and you're going to go into the business opportunities. Yeah, of course, you have to get registered in EVA, and also suggest that you get registered with SWAM. But before we get too deep in the woods, go ahead and use this tool. It's open to the public. Use this tool to see what type of contracts are available or have been available in your industry. A couple of the leading ones that I'm seeing, like right now, we're in the middle of summer as we're recording, and lawn care service is here, okay? Now, I want you to see that right now, there are two open contracts for bid for lawn care service. One of which is going to be about 45 minutes south of VSU, down in Lawrenceville, for Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT. So we see VDOT trucks on the interstate. They're working on the roads, and they're, making sure that, we don't have any potholes and the highways and byways are safe, but they also have a need. And in here, they have a need for lawn care maintenance in their headquarters in Lawrenceville. Then there's also one for the veterans, for Virginia Veteran Care Center, right? Not just that, we have a lot of folks that are into cosmetology. It's like cosmetology. Yes, you could do hair. Excuse me, let me spell that right. Go in here. Now, historically, there aren't any open ones right now, but historically, if you are a licensed cosmetologist, you will see that historically there have been 23 contracts awarded over the last, I'll say, the last 9 years, there have been contracts awarded. These contracts usually go to places like Central State Hospital, Eastern State Hospital. And they also have one in here for the agency that that gives you your certification as a cosmetologist. They're looking for individuals to proctor exams. So there are vast possibilities for that. So I want you to kind of like look through there and see, well, wow, not only can I perform these products, give these products or perform these services to private entities, but there are contracts, local and statewide, that's available for me as well. All right, we're going to go back over here to our excuse me. Now, also with that, now you looked in there, you looked to see if there were contracts available and what your audience is, but you also want to look at your competitors. Do a competitor analysis to study your competitors and find out what are their unique selling points. To get through college, I worked in property management in Petersburg. And one of the things that I was tasked with as a property manager was to make sure that my area competitors, my prices and amenities fell in line with that of the competitors around me. So in property management, we did class comp studies. We did comp studies to research properties comparable to the ones that I was assigned to see if our prices were right versus the amenities that were offered. And this transcends into what product and services is like yours and how are they faring in the same market with the competitors offering something like yours. So you have to do that. So once you've seen that, one, I have a passion. Two, there is a market for what I'm doing. Now you're ready to structure your business. Now, the legal considerations includes what type of business structure do you have or do you want? You have to decide on the best one. Are you going to be a sole proprietor? Are you going to be an LLC or corporation? But you need to look at the pros and cons. Sole proprietor, if something happens, it's all on you and your personal assets. If something happens and you get into a little legal battle, it's not just you, it's your personal assets that are up for stake now. As opposed to an LLC, which offers a hedge of protection. And then corporations. Now, you have to be intentional when you're choosing the structure. Because if you change anything about it, the name, if you're going to go from LLC to C Corp, S Corp, stock, non-stock, if you change any of those structural components, you have to get a new EIN, which is the employer identification number. And that EIN number, you think about it, is your business's social security number. And personally, when you have a social security number, that's your personal credit. So you think about that with your business credit is contingent upon your EIN and it's attached to you. So you don't want to have to start over with building new business credit. Now, you also need to look at the licenses and permits that are required where you are. Here in Petersburg, if your revenues are anticipated to be $50,000 or less, then your business license fee is $50. And anything above $50,000 and that business license being $50, anything above $50,000, now that business license fee is contingent upon what you're anticipating your revenues to be, and it is a certain percentage per 101,000 of that amount that you're giving the Commissioner of Revenue. Permits. Are you going to be home-based or are you going to go to a brick and mortar? If you're going to go into a brick and mortar, it's commercial. You have to work with the locality to make sure that you have certificates of occupancy, your fire permits, make sure it's zoned properly. You have to go through those things. Or are you going to be a home-based business? And if you're going to be a home-based business and you're getting your business license, they may ask you some qualifying questions like, how many square feet of the home are you going to be using for your business? Here in Petersburg, 300 square feet is what you can use in a home, as opposed to maybe Richmond, I think it's 500 square feet. So you have to look at all of those things when you're structuring your business and you're applying for your business license and permits. And then you want to be compliant. You want to be completely compliant across local, state, and federal regulations. Now, we've got a passion, we have a structure, we've done some market research. Now, we need to look at the business plan development, because starting a business and taking the leap into entrepreneurship takes work. And part of this work is developing a plan. You have to have an executive summary, outlining your business idea and objectives concisely. One tool that I like is the SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And when you answer those questions, specifically, what kind of business are you starting? How are you measuring success? Or how are you measuring progression? Okay, you have to how am I going to achieve this? And the relevancy of my business as it relates to what the need is. And what's my time frame? Am I going to achieve X amount of revenues or turn a profit in X amount of time? So it's time bound. Marketing strategy. So you look at the market research to see who your target market is. You have to do some strategic thinking, developing a plan to attract and retain customers, because you can get them in the door, but how are you going to keep them coming? And one thing that we have to take out of building a business is relying solely on friends and family. No, that's a hard thing to say, but don't get frustrated when all of your friends and family are not supporting that business, because that might not be the product or service for them. But there's a whole world of strangers looking for what you're offering. A whole world of strangers. Your calling is bigger than your immediate circle. If you have a great product and service, that calling is international. So remember that. Then you have to look at the financial projections. Be realistic. Be realistic with your forecast. How much money are you putting into the business? How much overhead, utilities, supplies, whatever, versus how much revenues you plan on generating. Startup costs are going to cost more, and then it kind of level out, but you have to be realistic. Now, let me go back for a second. This business plan, this is completely important, because it's now time for you to work on your business credit and look at securing funding. And you got to sing this song of what you need in perfect pitch. I can't sing. I can't carry a note in a paper bag. Sure cannot. But I follow Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely, if you haven't heard of her, she created Spanx. Those are the things that, it started off with products for ladies. And what she did was she took control top pantyhose, cut the feet or the legs out, and put them on as an undergarment to hold it in, suck it in, and get all that stuff together, right? And then it kind of morphed into a marketable product that she was selling. And when they asked her, what makes you successful? She said, I can tell customers why they need my product in 30 seconds. Now, that's called an elevator pitch. If you don't know, if you haven't heard of it, it's called an elevator pitch. But I need you to think about this. Can you honestly pitch your own product and service to others? But before you do that, take a moment and write down your elevator pitch. And then say it to yourself with conviction. Say it like you mean it. It's like they said say it with your chest. Say it with conviction and see if you would buy your own product and service. Would you? And if you can't look yourself in the mirror eye to eye and sell your own product and service to yourself, you need to go back and revisit your pitch. And so why do I need to pitch? Because when you're going in, whether you have a for-profit or nonprofit, and you need funding, you need to be able to sell. The art of storytelling, you have to be able to sell your product and service, sell your story of how you started, where you're going, what your vision looks like. You have to do that. And then when you get that elevator pitch together and you get your business plan all together, now we need to look at how are you going to secure some funding? There are tons of resources that are available to you for startup, for continuity, for the long run, for major purchases, capital improvements. There are resources available to you. But you have to start with the foundational things. Secure funding can go beyond these examples of personal savings, loans, and grants and investors. It can go beyond that. But remember, we looked at EVA, Electronic Virginia, and we looked at how to look at contracts, local and state contracts. You can get registered with EVA, become SWAM certified, small women and minority, along with micro businesses, along with disadvantaged business enterprise. So once you get registered in EVA, go ahead and get SWAM certified and bid on local and state contracts to provide the services that you have to offer. So while you're working on your business credit, working on that personal credit to boost your ability to secure funding or business credit with corporate credit cards and such, you can also secure contracts. Now you want to look at your personal savings. Now you got to look at how much of your personal money, because you still have to survive day to day, how much are your own are you willing to invest? We had a meeting and we talked about you got to have some skin in the game. You got to be able to come with some capital to say, I am prepared to invest this amount of my own. So now they're willing to take a risk with you in your business. That goes along with loans and grants. Go back to having that pitch. You have to have that perfect pitch, because if you don't have the motivation or the drive or the passion to push out this perfect pitch, nobody else is going to believe in you. You got to believe in yourself, and then everybody else is going to believe in you as well. And don't get discouraged. You got to have a personal resilience. You have to be resilient. You have to be able to bounce back, taking that leap, overcoming that fear. No doesn't mean no, you're not going to get it. Think of no as the next opportunity. You got to have a mindset. You have to be able to cultivate a resilient and a positive mindset to navigate through challenges. In property management, they used to call it overcoming objections. If somebody didn't want what you had to be able to tell them why they wanted it or why they needed it. So you need to be able to overcome challenges. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard, completely hard. But work-life balance. You have to maintain a healthy work-life balance to avoid burnout. But we're human. I get burnt out sometimes, but it comes in to that support system. I have an amazing support system, and I think they must have like spidey senses, or they must be, I don't know, mind readers or something. Because right when I think that I'm about to burn all the way completely out, here comes my support system. Now, that support system can be your friends, your family, and mentors. Mentors. Get yourself an amazing mentor, a truthful mentor, a mentor that's going to tell you, no, stop, and don't. That's not going to work. A mentor that says, you can do it, go forth and prosper. A mentor that has been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and is here to tell you what kind of works, what doesn't really work, and how to move forward. You have to do that. And then when you put all of those things together, it is now time to take that leap. Take that leap. You're here for a reason. You want to start this thing we call entrepreneurship. Now's the time to do it. There's no other time than now. Starting a business it's exciting, but it's challenging. It's a challenging endeavor. It requires you to be a planner. It requires you to be resilient and willing to adapt. Sometimes you just got to pivot. If it doesn't work this way, you have to be able to pivot. And by starting with some of the steps that I showed you and staying committed and staying your course with your vision, you can turn your entrepreneurial journey, your entrepreneurial dream into a thriving reality. Remember, every successful business started with a single step. One single step. Open that door to that plane, put your foot down on that ledge, and take the leap. I hope that this has been an informative and exciting or encouraging message to you on taking the leap into entrepreneurship. Again, my name is Shalonda Venable Royster, and if you have any questions or just want to have a conversation about taking that leap, please feel free to contact me. Thank you all for listening, and I hope that you have an amazing, amazing day. With Trojan Pride, I am Shalonda Venable Royster. Have a great day.